Doctor Who star Jodie Whittaker quits after 3 years as Time Lord. Well, hate to spoil everything, but the Doctor's not a Time Lord anymore. No. So a lot of people never accepted Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, and they weren't so crazy about a female Doctor. I was willing to give it a chance. I could see certain aspects and ideas one could pursue with that. They didn't. They didn't pursue any of it. Jodie had a situation here where it's kind of similar with what Matt Smith had. Neither one of them were fans of the show, but Matt Smith, I would argue, was the more professional in that he did his due diligence to study this character, came up with the idea of a very old man in a young man's body, and he went forward and did well as that. Jodie could have been, obviously, a man in a woman's body. And there's all kinds of elements and things you could work with that. They just completely passed on it. I don't know why. My guess is it just having any male aspect was considered misogyny now. I don't know. It's something weird like that in the thinking, because you get your female Doctor. You don't really give her Doctor Who shows. And then you plot from the beginning, Chibnall has admitted this, to destroy the canon. And he did. So, pretty disrespectful to your female Doctor. She never really gets to be Doctor Who in a lot of ways. But Jodie, I just don't think was up to the task. Her only real performance here was to do a bad impersonation of David Tennant's Doctor, because that's all she knows about Doctor Who, really, is her buddy David did it. And that didn't work. And so, but a lot of factors were pretty much unfair to her going into it, I think. I'm sure he considers Chibnall her buddy too, but he didn't serve her well at all in this, other than, well, he got her the job, and she figured, hey, this will put my face out there. This will be good going forward, get other roles and stuff. But I think it may have had more of a negative effect than not. But we'll have to see. Seemed like a lot of her, I'm not all that familiar with Jodie, but she did appear to have a lot of these other dark roles, and I kind of thought that might have worked to her strengths if they'd have pursued that idea of a man in a woman's body and having trouble dealing with it, and being kind of scared and not quite knowing how to get in the groove here. And for a couple of episodes, not the whole thing, but you deal with it. And another reason why I would have thought that keeping the companion Bill held over, so that you have a friend who understands this, plus the fact that Bill had turned into a Cyberman, so they both changed, see? They would have something in common. And that might have been a interesting take on it. No, instead they did these lackluster, bland, boring episodes, and with Jodie as kind of like a school teacher, with all these adults being little daycare kids that she's lecturing to about history and stuff. It was awful, just terrible. But none of that was as bad as what Chibnall did with Timeless Child, which is, again, the Doctor was too white and male, so we had to undo all that, and this is what they came up with. Which, even if you truly believed in this woke cult stuff, it seems like you would have done a better the structure for it, instead of just, the Master tells her the whole story and that's it, and she believes him. So lazy. So so unfortunately for Jodie, she is the face of that, and that's not good. No. So anyway, apparently the rumor is she has told the BBC that she's going to leave and stick with the traditional rule of leaving after 3 seasons or a series with that. And so that's typical. Of course, Hartnell set that standard, not willingly. Unfortunately, his health failed him and he had to go. Troughton did 3. Peter Davison did. I think most of them did. Of course, Baker stayed on for 7, but he really liked doing it. So there you go. That's how that'll be. And so now already some of the theories about who could replace her, and they're going back to Chris Marshall. Now, Chris Marshall, the weird thing was he was announced, and everyone was believing it, that there was betting odds on it, and it seemed like he had gotten the gig before Jodie was announced. And I'm guessing perhaps he was used in that manner to keep it a secret so it could be a surprise. I'm not sure. Then after Jodie was announced, they even had stories that he was going to be a companion in the series, and it was all nonsense. He didn't even get to play a villain. He had nothing to do with the show. So now, once again, hey, he might be a guy for the role. So, I don't know. Again, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, that's not happening. They don't have the money to lure her in. And even if they did, they wouldn't give her the power she would want to over the show, to do it the way she'd want and all that. And then a big favorite is Michael Sheen. And again, it's not happening. Again, no money. And just look what's happened. Why would he do it? Even if he's a fan, which would be terrible because it'd be another heartbreak, like poor Peter Capaldi, who in my opinion was the best of the new Who doctors. He just didn't get any scripts worthy of his talent. If Michael Sheen's a fan of Doctor Who on any level, it would just, again, break his heart to have to go through these horrible scripts and play this god-awful thing, unable to bring his Doctor to full fruition. And yet you look at the guy and he's like, that's a Doctor Who right there. That's a good Doctor. And it's sad, but it's not going to happen. And they don't have the money. Doctor Who at its height under Tennant and all that, the merchandise was just bringing in bags of money. And then that could have been a very enticing offer. But now, where they're in trouble, BBC just can't get people to accept that, hey, that licensing fee is a good deal. So they may be on course to lose that. They're in trouble. And I just don't see any of this. So, well, who could replace Jodie Whittaker? So, as it is, the way it's been set up with the story and the introduction of Dr. Ruth, I would think that Joe Martin would succeed her, if only just to fix that. This idea that she's a previous doctor that that the doctor just didn't remember is stupid. And of course, that's why it's probably not going to happen. Chibnall's going to protect his idiot timeless child plot as if it's some sort of great masterpiece in his mind, when it desperately needs to be retconned as soon as possible. But with that, Joe Martin's doctor appears to be some past doctor. It would make more sense if she was from the future. Something devastating happens to Jodie's doctor, and it regenerates into Joe Martin, but the effects of which leaves her with some amount of amnesia. And, the TARDIS resets in the control room. That's much better than the one Jodie had. At least you can see in it. And with the way the money is, and if this might have to happen regardless of who they put in, you don't really get a full season anymore. You would probably be a couple of specials, maybe 4 at the most. And you could do that and detail the story of Dr. Ruth. And a lot of stuff is already established. What's this? She gets a husband and all this stuff, and then he gets killed and no one cares. Maybe they reveal he was just an android or something. It's just still pretty weird. And all that you gotta map out and fix and make that work. And then she regenerates into Michael Sheen, and then you're good. Or maybe Chris Marshall. And it'll probably still be only specials, because I don't know that they can afford even an 8-episode stint. I don't know. But if you can go a long way to restore that and draw back your fandom, you might make some money off of your sonic screwdrivers and Doctor Who action figures and whatnot. As it is now, no. Now, so the idea of already having introduced a future Doctor, I always thought would be a cool thing for Doctor Who to do. This goes back to the original series. I thought, oh, this was back when Tom Baker left and the Watcher was there, and I thought, wow, what if it had actually been Peter Davison walking around? It's something like that. Well, it's kind of an interesting idea, and with time travel and stuff, stands to reason it fits right in. Could do that. But I just don't think they're going to do it. For whatever reason, it seems to be pretty set, dead on for Jo Martin to be this past Doctor, and that's it. That's pretty much her stint, unless she's going to do something for a big finish and all that. But that positioning her Doctor there is terrible, and it's kind of never gives her Doctor a chance, which is even really bad. But say, for whatever reason, Jo Martin's not interested in a commitment for that long a time, the specials would solve that. She does a few and then regenerates to her successor. And the episodes will be spaced out, that kind of thing, where you can suggest that, well, a lot of stuff happened, and then later on she wants to do some big finish. There you go. That fixes all that, too. So that's where it would be. However, earlier there was a rumor that they were going to introduce another secret Doctor in Series 13. But maybe she's not really a secret Doctor, she's the future Doctor. And this was supposed to be played by actress Parminder Nagra. I know her most from ER. Apparently she was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 2 or something. Anyway, so the idea is that she would come in and play a new LGBTQIA plus. I can't keep up with all the alphabet, but if you can't, don't worry, just put the plus at the end, and that should give you some coverage from not being cited as being a monster. So that's what she would do, and therefore Jo Martin just remains some mysterious secret Doctor somewhere before Hartnell, or not before Hartnell, or in between Hartnell and Trial. Oh God, it's just so stupid. So, because she calls herself the Doctor, she's in a police box. You can go figure how does that work? They didn't think it through. So that was a rumor there. I think TARDIS Zone heard that one, and well, that might just be what they're going to do. Yeah. So you think, hey, maybe we can finally get Doctor Who back on track, and no, you won't. It just won't be Jodie anymore, and that's that. So, if you were all getting excited, I hate to bring you all down, but I just don't think this is a hopeful sign for the future of Doctor Who, because all that stuff I suggested, they're not going to do it. And they're certainly not going to go back to a man. So Michael Sheen, what's the problem with him? Well, he's a man. And he's white. So that's not going to happen. So if it does, well, hey, count me as impressed. So even poor Chris Marshall, he won't get a shot at it either, because not only is he a man and white, he's also ginger. Boy, there's a lot of gender swapping and race swapping of redheaded characters. You notice that? I don't know what that's about, but there's something to that. Anyway, so I wouldn't be popping any champagne corks over the exit of Jodie Whittaker. But it is interesting. I think it's still within the realm of rumor as of now. This was a story in the Mirror, but it's been speculated about for quite some time. Even stories of her agent saying, "Get off that show." And of course, the 3-year stint gives her to save face on the surface of it, anyway, as that tends to be the usual run for actors playing Doctor Who. So I think this is probably true, and this is it for Jodie. But it might also be it for Doctor Who. They may have her glow and regenerate, and there's nobody, and the show ends on a cliffhanger, and somebody will have to come back in and try to make that work, or they'll just do like suddenly Eccleston appears and he's the Doctor and all that. Because the money's run out, and the damage is so badly done. even though on paper you could fix a lot of that mess Chibnall made, I just don't. I think it's too late, and it might have to sit there for another 10 years before it gets revived, if at all. Yeah, it's just all very sad. So that's it for Jodie, apparently. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness. So many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.